And Ronan said that people band together on a cause. Well, that kind of proves our point. And Wally said that most people do it after the innovators. It still says here that 2.5% of the people are innovators, which implies a group rather than one person. Okay, so our argument clearly shows that a revolution is a result of a group's actions rather than a single individual. As Harrison stated, the government was shown to be corrupt and the police harassed and brutalized the population of Tunisia. He also explained that in the American Revolution, the actions of people such as Thomas Paine did not cause the revolution, but rather added to the growing tension that would eventually split the United States of America from Great Britain. He continued by explaining that unemployment in Tunisia was at 20%, or 1 in 5 people did not have a job. And Anais pointed out that leading up to the revolution, inflation rose to 8%, and she also told us that Ben Ali imprisoned more than 10,000 of his political enemies. Most societies that have political repression are not societies that we want to live in, like North Korea or Nazi Germany. Opponents' argument that compared was so Ronan explained that an individual acts as a symbol for people to rally behind during a revolution. Well, we see in revolutions like the Italian Revolution of 1830 and Vietnam's August Revolution, where revolutionary groups were wanting the idea of their country rather than a certain leader or political figure. And we see the proposition's arguments are inaccurate, and the actions of Muhammad Bouazizi did not cause the revolution, but rather added fuel to the fire. So now returning to Anais's final point, that revolutions are not caused by individuals, but rather by groups, and it's very accurate, as we see in the Tunisian Revolution, from the vast amount of social network and collaborative work that happened in order to bring down Ben Ali's administration. They all had to cooperate in order to bring down the government. And while Muhammad Bouazizi burning himself might have helped the revolution, they were going to probably rebel anyway, because no one wants to live under a society that represses their political opponents and where unemployment is up to 20%. So, given all this abundant evidence, the claim that it takes radical actions of an individual to stop a revolution is clearly false, and therefore the opposition should be, well, the opposition is right because their arguments are all inaccurate. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Usher, and I'm the conclusion guy for the competition. So let's To sum up this debate, our argument was radical individuals like Bouazizi are what start revolutions. Your argument was bad conditions will inevitably lead to a revolution. So which side is right? Well, first let me respond to your recent arguments. Your team has claimed that 1, Ben Ali was the innovator, 2, the bad conditions in Tunisia made a revolution inevitable, and 3, the revolution was a group effort, not an individual effort. Firstly, Ben Ali and his horrible leadership did not start the revolution. Sure, the revolution came about due to the horrible conditions he created for his people, but did he start it? No. To use a metaphor, you can pile up a mountain of firewood, but without a single flame it will never catch fire. Bouazizi was that flame. Ben Ali simply piled the wood for his 23 years in power. If in fact Ben Ali was the innovator, then, as Ronan said, why did the revolution start mere hours after Bouazizi's brave protest? Secondly, we completely agree with you that a group effort was necessary to overthrow Ben Ali. What ruler in their right minds would respond to a single citizen's radical action? None. That would be crazy. As Ronan said, the first marches in Bouazizi's honor started mere hours after he set himself on fire, and those first hundreds quickly turned into thousands and then to millions. But as we keep saying, if it wasn't for Bouazizi's sacrifice, then there would have never been the hundreds who led to the thousands, then to the millions, who eventually scared away Ben Ali. Okay, with your arguments answered, I will now reiterate the main reasons we believe our position is the correct one. Firstly, Bouazizi acted as a symbol for the Tunisians to channel their anger behind. For the Tunisians, the idea of single-handedly raging at their corrupt government was vague and daunting. Think about that. Think about the screaming metaphor that Ronan used. This was one of the reasons the people were silent for 23 years. Bouazizi's righteous actions were something that finally the people could actually get behind and fight or even die for. And our second reason was that Bouazizi acted as a friend of sorts for the people. He made joining the revolution feel less terrifying. Being the first person to step forward is scary. Being the second, third, or even fourth takes less courage, but there must always be that one fearless individual. So there you have it, the two things that humans desire if they are to be employed, the two things that the people desired if they are to be inclined to join the Tunisian revolution, purpose and humanity. Without those two things that Bouazizi created, nobody would have ever joined the cause. Oh, and to try to answer the mystery of why Bouazizi was okay with standing up against his government, well, he was just the one who cracked first.
Right.
Let's stay put.
They're at 20 minutes. We're working 11 minutes. Let's start. Let's go first. All right.
I'd like to. I'd like to give either side. I'd like to give each side an opportunity if you wanted to respond to anything. We have 5 minutes. Please, audience, let's not pack up. Anybody want to say anything? Yeah, go for it.
I'll just quickly say something about what you stated about the French Revolution is not true. Looking at our beloved Rogers bell curve that we all love so much, we can see right here, according to Wikipedia, not the most trusted source, but whatever. It says here that Jacques Louis Davis was the one. He was the one who pushed for the Third Estate to change their name to the National Assembly, and he was the one who swore the all faithful oath tennis courthouse. So this is showing that you needed an innovator to really push before you got the group of the Third Estate of the early adopters to really go for it in the tennis courthouse.
Fair point.
Okay, so I want to say something. You're saying that your claim is that in revolution it has to take
Jane
an
Morgan.
innovator
On my
to
list.
start a revolution. In many revolutions, the Hong Kong, the 2014 Hong Kong Revolution, and I can't think of some off the top of my head, but it started by just protesting, not an innovator. More than one person.
Okay. Can I use quickly? Just go into the curve. Just go into the curve. Guys?
The innovator represents 2.5%. So how is 2.5% one person? Or does that imply that it's a group of innovators?
Okay, in the interest of time, can I get a couple shout outs?
Sure.
I want to give a shout out to Roman for being ready to being willing to yell and drop his phone to prove his point.
All right. Very interactive. Holly. Honey.
Yeah, she was fantastic. And I have a question for you two. Did you guys share information?
Yeah. Way
That explains a lot. Because your
photos
photos
system
were like,
is literally just a scripted event.
it flows really well.
All right. We need